Hey, listen up. We got another episode of Wise Kracks, featuring the crack man himself, Bill Krackenberger, and our co-host, John Orlando, straight from Las Vegas. Wise Kracks is your ticket inside the world of sports betting, with tips, picks, special guests, and more. Only on WSN.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another week of Wise Kracks. We got a fantastic show today with an incredible guest. But before we get to him, let's get to the man of the hour, Mr. Bill Krackenberger, joining us from, I don't even know. I can't keep up with you. Where are you these days?
I'm on the East Coast.
Okay.
Yeah. Doing a little East Coast trip here, making sure my apps are funded here. I'm actually coming back to Las Vegas for the opening week Raiders game, but then I'm coming right back out here for week 2 NFL, and I'll be out here for, I hate to say most of NFL, but I'll be out here for a lot of the NFL weekends. Okay.
Does that mean, so you're going to go to the Raiders game? You going to the opener?
I am going to the opening game because I have a lot of friends that are coming in, and I got one of those luxury boots. I was invited to go to one of those, so I'm going there, and yeah, it should be fun. Are you going?
I don't know. That's a good question.
How about this, John? Would you like to come with me to the opening Monday Night Football primetime Raiders game in a luxury booth overlooking the stadium?
I'm in. Bill Krackenberger. That's verbally binding, by the way. That's a verbally binding agreement.
You got it.
So, Bill, before we get into this week, let's talk about last week, because I have a question for you. Last week, if you remember, you lost a little bit of money. Following, you got some bad info, what you thought was good info on the Pacquiao fight, and it was bad info. And I said, Bill, don't worry. I can make all your money back that you lost on that fight on Giga Chikadze to win the main event at the UFC. And you told me, I like this bet. I'm going to do it. So I want to know, how much did you win?
First off, I want to correct you on you saying I lost a little bit of money. Actually, for the week, I actually won because I had a really good sports week. But I lost money on the Pacquiao fight. But for the week, I actually had a really good.
You've been on fire lately.
Actually.
Yeah.
No, I actually had a good week, but for the fight, I lost with the great information supposedly.
Right.
I just put a tweet up about that. As a matter of fact, it's getting a little bit. It's running around now, getting a lot of hits. So yeah, I always tell people that things aren't a lock, and that's something that I was told in this fight because of an injury. And I'm just glad I didn't bet as much as I could have. I easily could have bet a lot on this fight. I mean, I bet a lot, lost a lot, but but yeah, you had good information. I agreed with it right away too. I like a small little dog taking 105. We talked about.
Yeah.
And great job. And I didn't have a grocery dollar on it.
Oh no, that's because it came from me.
Yeah. Well,
you're like, Orlando.
No, but I actually agreed with the line movement and stuff. But I mean, I didn't bet it. But
all right.
Good. Keep on a streak. Get a couple winners in a row. And
all streaks have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But it already ended because I bet on Woodley. To beat Jake Paul. I did.
Oh,
just a little bit, just because he was 2-1 almost.
Yeah, and you had a live dog. It went to the decision, correct?
Yeah,
I watched the fight.
I got to tell you, so I watched the fight, and I've kind of hated on Jake Paul a little bit because I don't like his off out of the ring chatter and stuff. It's just I don't like that he plays the bully. I get it, he's stirring it up and all that, but I have to say he definitely earned my respect. Against Woodley. He finally fought an actual fighter, and he did a really good job on Saturday night. I was.
So you don't like Jake Paul because of that, but
I know what you're going to say.
Big mouth, arrogant Conor McGregor. That's your guy.
Yes. So here's the thing. Conor of late, I don't love. I like funny Conor. I like when Conor is the funny bully. I don't like when Conor is the bully. And it seems like ever since the Khabib fight, he's become the bully. Before that, when Conor fought like Poirier the first time or Nate Diaz, he was the funny bully. Like he made jokes, but he was more lighthearted Conor. Now
I guess that sells.
Too dark.
It sells. He's a good marketing guy.
Yeah.
I guess that does sell. Yeah. But So the fight went to the decision.
The fight went to the decision.
You were watching the fight?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
So you were one of the millions of suckers that pay for this stuff, right?
I did. I consider it part of my job, though, so I can speak intelligently about it with you.
Oh, give me a break, John. You'd be watching that if we didn't have this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But look, you're not alone. I mean, look at the numbers that supposedly Jake Paul said. $800 million in buys or something.
They claim it was the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, other than behind Mayweather.
People are that. I don't want to say a bad word, but people do stuff like that. I mean, I paid for some fights in my life, real boxing fights that were definite stinkers. So I get it. And he's a salesman. He's a internet guy, and he brings a lot of people to the table that probably wouldn't even be watching the boxing. Which means they wouldn't be involved in sports betting even, because now, Jake's always promoting this stuff. These guys are promoting sports betting too, in a matter of ways. So it does bring people in, and it brings a lot of dead money in. And when dead money comes to the sport or any sport, let me be real blunt. I need dead money. Bill Krackomberger needs dead money coming into the sports betting arena. And by the way, it's coming in droves with all these new sports books and jurisdictions. But when you have a whole new genre of internet kids that are watching these guys on social media, laughing, giggling, and doing what they do, literally zero ROI on investment. But so they come in and now start putting money up, and the dead money goes into the pools, and it makes it easier for a guy like me to take out my tiny little share for me and my Crack Wins guys. And there you go.
You're not trying to break the bank. You just want that tiny little share, and those add up over the year.
I just want to slice them. I don't want to gut them. I know what happens when you gut them. I've been stiffed out of over $1 million for gutting bookmakers. Trust me. So I know what happens when you go for the heart and you try to gut a bookmaker. They're not going to pay you. Their goal is literally to beat you. But if they don't beat you, they beat you again. Like I always say when I win money, I have to win a bet. Then I have to win a second time by getting paid. So at least I stick with these brick and mortars now. I know I'm going to get paid. I may get thrown out like, the William Hills and the Stations of the world. But however, at least I do get paid. I have a gaming commission behind me to stick up for me and make sure I get paid.
Right. Which is so crazy that they throw you out. I just can't even get my head wrapped around that. We've got a very huge guest on the show today, Bill.
Giant.
I mean, he's a casino legend, Las Vegas legend. I said it, a week ago or so. There's not too many people that have changed Las Vegas. You've got Steve Wynn, obviously. I think I threw Peter Morton, the father, out there, with the Hard Rock. I think that was a property that changed Vegas. And I think Circa, the D actually changed downtown a little bit, just in terms of a young, hip, swanky kind of place. But what Derek Stevens has done at Circa is incredible, and we are super excited to have him on the show thanks to you. Well, Crack, also thanks to you last week, I got a lot of great feedback from these tips. You gave out these 3 tips, and people were asking me for more tips about, betting and college football, specifically, I guess, with college football. And so today, I want you to talk about home field advantage.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's say about those last week. One of those tips is really my favorite tip is that when you have 200 like 200 different games going on, it's so hard for the bookmaker to get those lines right on everything. So literally you have, any given, when there's a cross sports like we have during college football, college basketball Saturdays, you got to make 200 lines. They can't get every line right. So that's one of my favorite things that I talked about last week. This week, I actually wanted to talk about the home field advantage. Yeah, last year, a lot of these places didn't have, the bookmakers just didn't know, how loud they were going to be, the stadiums, of how packed they were going to be with only, so much home field advantage. Now, unlike, people don't realize this. If I had to pick any sport, it would be college basketball and college football, where the home field advantage really means something. Compared to baseball, it means hardly anything. In the NFL, it means something too, but other sports means more than others. I think the home field advantage in college football means a lot. And just keep your eye on the line, because a lot of that's baked in sometimes, but sometimes it's not. So that's one good tip for this week, the home field advantage.
Okay, and then the next one is kind of funny. I didn't tell you this, but so I got multiple calls. You know, I don't really love college football. I don't really follow it. I do more now because of you. But I got multiple calls last week from people that bet on sports, friends of mine, and they all said, I've got a lock, I've got a can't lose, take Hawaii and the points. But because a guy named Bill Krackenberger didn't call me and say take Hawaii and the points, I stayed away.
Well,
luckily.
I didn't have UCLA. I didn't have the other side either. I just didn't bet the game. But I'll tell you, speaking of that now that I'm thinking about that team, UCLA might be one of the sleepers this year. They may be a lot better than people think. They may give this weekend. I think they're playing Clemson. They may give Clemson a hard time this weekend. So we'll see. But going into that though, listen, I know Hawaii's bad. We all know that. There was a lot of people on Twitter that came out after talking about the Hawaii game and how bad they were. Oh, okay. I understand they're bad, but the bookmakers know that too. That's why you're getting so many points betting against them. So they'll make it to a point where it's a level playing field after this first game, probably, and you'd be surprised by what these spreads will be. You know, Hawaii is usually the last game on TV, so people want to look to bail out somewhere on that type of game. That's why I say just you don't have to bet these games because they're on TV, guys. You need action at midnight. I mean, Jesus, crime and Eddie. So anyway, that's my opinion on Hawaii.
And what about lastly? It says key numbers not as strong. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, the key numbers are not as strong in college football as they are in the NFL on the 3 and 7. Matter of fact, it's the opposite. The 3 is the keyest number in the NFL. NFL is the 3. In college, it's the 7. The 7 is the most important number. So, but then again, you want to make sure, of course, do your line shopping. That's what this is about. Do your line shopping, especially around the 7. You're better off laying, 6.5, obviously, than 7. You're better off taking 7.5 than 7. So do your line shopping, especially if you're taking the dogs. There's so much square influence in this market right now. There's so many squares, so much dead money in the game. As they say in poker, dead money. Well, there's a lot of dead money in our sport too, because people are just gambling on things they don't even know about just to have action.
Yeah.
Therefore, the bookmaker's forced to overmove the lines. You can get those extra hooks, those extra half points. We call them hooks in the industry, against a lot of teams. So make sure if you're betting it, do your searching around the 7. It's nice to get the 7.5, and I'm sure you'll find it because a lot of these sports books are forced to overmove to get some two-way action. So
yeah, and you said something a moment ago. You said in reference to Hawaii, just stay away. You don't have to bet every game because it's not on TV. And I also got a lot of calls this week from my friends. I have a lot of friends that are on Crack Wins. They're your players. They're following you. For advice. And you went 6-2 in baseball. I find that number so interesting because there's so many baseball games every single day. And the fact that there were only 8 games that you wanted to bet on all week says a lot to what you always preach, which is you don't have to bet every game. You don't have to have action. Don't be that action junkie. Do this to make money and really be selective on the games you pick.
Especially the second half of the season. So I'm definitely more selective. And yeah, we had a nice week overall and everything last week. We had a nice big winning week, but I'm not one that talks about winning weeks. I just don't do it. Everyone else that sells games and touts out there, and these want to talk about what they've done the last 10 games, last week, last 10 days. It's not me. I know one thing though, for the season, you guarantee you stick with me, you get the money. We have won over 250 units for clients since I opened the app and opened the crackwins.com. So you're listen, the proof's in the pudding. You're betting syndicate games. How many guys out there that sell games do they get the better closing line? Not many. There's a couple, but there's not many people that, when you take +7, the line closes +6, or when you go over 49, the line closes 53. It doesn't happen because they don't win. That's the bottom line. They don't win. That's all I can tell you. In the end, you get the money.
Words of wisdom from the Crack Man. Always follow the Crack Man. I'm getting a signal from Mr. Travis here telling me that our fantastic guest for the day is now just about to join us. Bill, you know I've been excited about this for a week now, ever since you even gave me a hint that this was possible as a guest for today. We are joined by a Las Vegas legend. This guy, you know, Bill, it's like I said before, you know, there's not too many people that have changed Las Vegas for the good, you know, forever, really. Steve Wynn comes to mind, you know, Peter Morton at the Hard Rock, and the guy that is kind of like been passed the torch to is Derek Stevens. He has led the charge in revitalizing downtown Las Vegas, which I didn't even think was possible, and he built arguably the nicest property in Las Vegas in the middle of downtown Las Vegas. Circa Resort is absolutely incredible. The sportsbook, the stadium swim, everything over there is fantastic. What a pleasure to welcome Derek Stevens to the show.
Hey guys, great to see you today. I don't know how that introduction came about, but that's pretty humbling, and it's all you know, untrue, of course. But I appreciate the intro. I'm just a guy sitting at the end of the bar that loves sports. But thanks for having me on.
Oh wow, no, we know you're you're much more than that, and you know you are right though. That was a question for mine, so I might as well just bring it up. Derek, I've known you as you know for a couple of years now, and you're literally inviting people off the street to come in and sit with you, and the touchy-feely experience, handshakes and pictures. And I'll tell you that is just it's a lost art of it's the smartest marketing there is. People love to be around someone so bubbly and happy, and that's just the goal of people. You know, I'll tell you right now, I can't tell you how many times I've been down to the Circa because someone comes in town and says, Crack, can you meet me and show me around? I was like, show you around? You don't need me for that. Look, as soon as you go in there, everything is self-explanatory there. But I did. I went down there, went to the steakhouse a couple times, and went down to the sports book, and they're always so overwhelmed and like, wow, this is fantastic. And it's not only the Circa though. I think, you know, when I was there opening day and or it was the pre-opening when you were talking about revitalization of almost like everyone. You were mentioning other properties. It was not about self-promoting. You were saying the industry this is better for the industry, not just the D and the Golden Gate, other properties downtown. Have you noticed that, Derek? Have you seen more foot traffic, which means more revenue, which would also mean more foot traffic for the other properties downtown?
Yeah, I mean, I built a place that, Stadium Swim, that has 4,000 person capacity. We got Legacy Club. You know, we hope to do about, 600 to 800 people a night. Our sports book, on a flow basis can do a few thousand people a day. And, we only have 512 hotel rooms. So I know, everything we've tried to do, we tried to design these destinations. These were attractions, not just for our hotel guests, but really for sports gamblers or people that like being outside, getting some sunshine. And we wanted people to come and visit us, whether they stayed with us or not. That's really why Garage Mahal was so important. We wanted to make it real easy for people to get in and out, things like that. And yeah, I'm probably dating myself here, but I remember circling the dates on my calendar 3 decades ago about, man, I got to get out to Vegas. I just can't wait till New York opens. I can't wait till MGM opens. I can't wait till Hard Rock opens. And I always used to come out, the first week when the casino opened, and the excitement I felt, and I lived in Detroit at that time was something. And I hope that Circa could fire people up who wanted to come back to this great city of Las Vegas.
That's great. That's great. And I can imagine now you must pinch yourself sometimes and say, is this real? You're the same kid, because we're the exact same age, by the way. So you must be sitting back from 30 years ago saying, wow, look how far this has come. Literally the dream has become reality, and you have changed the face of Las Vegas now, especially with your whole attitude and the way you treat people too. It's so nice to have an owner of a casino that's reachable. I mean, Derek, are you still at the Long Bar at the D, or are you at the Long Bar at Circa, the Circa bar? You're still hang out there and visit some great people?
Oh yeah, I mean, but now that decisions are more difficult, I got to coordinate. Well, sometimes it's a like last Saturday, long bar night. It was a great night. And then, in Bar Canada, where I'm at right here in the sportsbook, so I got to kind of coordinate. Now I'm hitting 2-3 bars a night. You hunker down for a couple hours and all that. But that's what I love to do. That's how I kind of set up groups when I get to meet everybody. And, that's the one great thing about Vegas is everybody comes into this town. They're excited. They're going to get after it. I just love meeting people, meeting their groups, meeting their friends. And it's pretty cool. Yeah. And going back to your first comment, I can't believe I'm sitting in this position. I mean, I'm a guy that never missed a fight, never missed a wild card weekend, opening football weekend, Super Bowl, stuff like that. And I got lucky, kind of parlayed things here. And a couple years ago when I left New York after we made the big pitch with Credit Suisse and all the investment bankers, I walked out of there and they said, I think you're going to get the money. I looked around to my team and like, holy smokes, I can't believe they're giving me the money to do this. This is awesome.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's incredible. Derek, I'm real good friends with Richard Wilk. And I remember he took me over to the D. You were still building Circa at the time. And my first time over at the D, I couldn't believe the vibe in there was so electric. It was so young. Like it wasn't what I pictured in my head as being a downtown Vegas casino was not the D. The D was jumping like you want it to be, like old Vegas. And I remember I saw they were watching this college football game at the bar, and this guy at the end of the bar was going nuts and high-fiving guests. And I remember I said to Richard, that guy right there is having a blast. And he goes, yeah, that's Derek. He's the owner. I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable. What made you pick downtown? Like like the fact that you are so fearless and committed to really changing Las Vegas for the better says so much about you. But was it scary to get behind Circa? Because that's a big undertaking and really roll the dice and kind of do the Kevin Costner, if you build it, they will come kind of thing. How did you know they'd come?
Well, here's the reality behind it is how did I end up in downtown? Well, it didn't cost as much. I mean, I bought 50% of the Golden Gate, it's kind of public information. I spent $7.5 million. And I kind of thought with my brother and I that, either we have that chance to make something happen or not. If we blow it all, I was fortunate enough in a lot of my other businesses, I took a shot at that. And, when I bought the Golden Gate 2006, no slot system. Every slot had nickels and dimes and quarters falling out of it. And I kind of thought, well, if we invested in the slot system, brought in some new machines, added a sound system, let's create a little vibe and see what happens. And that little concept kind of played, and it parlayed out to buying Fitzgerald's in 2011 and turning that into the D. And then it parlayed into, buying Vegas Club and the Glitter Gulch and really creating Circa. So really for me, it just ended up starting with Golden Gate and adding a little vibe, and then walking out on Fremont Street and asking if I could buy somebody a beer. Most people flipped me off and they didn't believe me, but on the 25% that did come in, had an opportunity to have a beer and shake hands with them, take a couple pictures, and I always said it. If you enjoyed the time tonight, I'm going to ask you for one thing. It won't cost you any money. I'm going to ask you to tell 2 friends. That's it. If you enjoyed it here, and that's kind of how my whole thing started. If somebody comes in, they want to have a beer together and want to talk for a few minutes. If you have a good time, tell 2 friends. That's really about it.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's great. It's so awesome, John, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have someone that has street smarts. You have these business people that go to nice 4-year degrees on the wall and they're just not social. And here you got someone with street smarts, common sense, and that background. It means so much more than a lot of other casinos in town. That's absolutely great. I got a quick story. Go ahead, John.
But no, Bill, I was going to say, I don't know, what's fascinating about, I like talking about you like you're not here, Derek. What's fascinating about Derek to me is, I don't know if you remember, when we got past the first wave of lockdowns last year, Derek put out a tweet and said, I'll pay for your flight to come to Vegas. You don't even have to stay at Circa. Like, who does that? That we live in such a world where everyone is all about me, what's in it for me, especially when it comes to business people. And this guy puts Las Vegas first, and that's why I believe he's so successful.
That's great, Derek. That's great you did that.
We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with that promotion. I mean, buying 1,000 flights, and we wanted to get like Allegiant in and Southwest, and we did, I think, 5-6 airlines, and yeah, it was just come to Vegas. I mean, because this was a time when Las Vegas and everybody that works here, you know, we got hammered with no tours, and we were just trying to jumpstart things and have a little bit of fun with it. Like I said, you know, the D only has 629 rooms, so get 1,000 flights in. It's more than my hotel, so let's get, get things going everywhere.
That's
so
great.
It was a lot of fun, and it's kind of turned into a media element. So it ended up being a marketing deal. But you know, from a value perspective, you know, there were certain deals out there that were pretty good. You know, we were getting people flying in from Chicago, you know, round trip, $80. So it's not like we were in $500,000 on the deal. It just turned out to be something that was a lot of fun and got people back to Vegas.
So, Derek, something you don't know. So I live right across from the Westgate. I live in a high rise across from the Westgate. So last week, I literally get a text from a hand doctor in town that tells me, hey, big injury in the Pacquiao fight. Pacquiao's definitely going to win the fight. You know, one of these guys that know, inside guy. So I run down. Literally, I was just pulling out of my parking lot. I think I had $14,550 in my pocket. I literally pull right out, and I was like, I got to go to Circa. Circa had the best odds on Pacquiao. So I go to the Tuscany, which people may not know. The Tuscany also has the Circa brand at the sportsbook there. Run over to the Tuscany, and now I'm like, all right, now do I have to text anyone to? Absolutely not. I go to the counter. I say, I have 14, John, it's embarrassing. I have 14,550 in my pocket. I bet every dollar I had on Pacquiao, 14,550. And of course, Circa, Derek Stevens' company, took the bet, and it was a losing bet though. But that leads into what I'm going to say here. I love that I know if I make a left and go closer to my high rise, I know there's other casinos there, but I know I'm going to have trouble making a 5-figure bet. I love that I'm able to bet at Circa and know that I won't have a problem. So I really appreciate you taking on those type of clientele, guys that come in. Off air, I was telling Derek, asking him, I have a friend that's a very, very wealthy landowner, business owner, owns shopping malls all throughout the South. So he comes in on his own private plane, by the way. He comes in on a private plane by himself a lot. And he said he just likes to gamble. So he's like, I want to bet 10,000 on a couple futures and get the best prices. So right away, of course, Circa had the best prices. But they're like, I was telling him, I'm like, Frankie, listen to me. I don't know who's going to take. This is 100-1 shot. So I asked Derek, I said, you know, is it possible we could talk about a $10,000 on a 100-1 shot to win $1 million? And personally, they got no shot to win, by the way, the Super Bowl. But I mean, I shouldn't say no shot. Everyone has a chance. I mean, the Miracle Mets won at Miracle odds, and the Jets won the Super Bowl back in the '69, whatever it was. But and you're welcome something like that. You'll maybe take on something like that because I have a personal relationship. But anyone can come up to the counter and they can ask what they can bet, and more than likely, you're probably going to accommodate them.
Yeah, you know, on a futures bet on something like you said. Yeah, we would probably take it. I mean, you'd probably have to meet up with Jeff Benson, and then he's going to run it by Matt Metcalf and such. You know, we probably wouldn't take a bet right up at the counter for someone that's has a ticket that pays 7 digits. But yeah, you just call, you talk to them. We'll take those bets. There's no question. We'll take those bets. You know, we've taken bets that pay 7 figures before. That's how we figured out our system only went to 6 digits. We had to fix that. So we'd happily take those bets. Just to let Matt know, and you know, somebody walks in. It happens a lot. Actually, said, "Hey, I see you got 81 on this. Can I bet 12.5 to win $1 million?" Things like that. That happens more frequently than you think. And yeah, we generally would always take.
Oh, good. And for everyone out there, I'm going to post that on Twitter after I make that bet. I'm going to have that posted on after he makes that bet, I should say. I'm going to have him post that on Twitter. So great. John, you have a question?
Yeah.
Hold on, Craig.
Yeah.
Craig, I got a question. I'm not going to let this one go. You said the word embarrassing. You're right. I mean, what is going on today? $14,550 in your pocket? That's not even walking around money anymore. What are you doing, Craig?
That's all I had at the time. I did bet more. I did bet a little more on it. I have to admit it. Not a lot of guys admit losses, especially in the Twitter world. I admit it. I've lost like 23,000 on this fight. But honestly, I should have lost more. I have two different sources text me. One, a hand doctor. The other guy's in the boxing game, and he texts me. Same thing, injury to a bicep. He's only going there for a paycheck. I can't believe I bet more money on things. I bet 50,000 on things in the past. I can't believe I didn't bet more. I honestly cannot believe I didn't lose more money on this fight. So you're right, though. Thank God that's all I had in my pocket.
There we go.
So, Derek, we've established that you are one of the few casinos that will let Bill Krackomberger place sports bets. Are you also one of the few casinos? I know you're friends with him. Will you take Dana White's blackjack action?
Yeah, we enjoy everybody coming in. Blackjack's maybe a little bit different than sports, but yeah, we love when Dana comes in. He's a frequent visitor. He's a big fan of the restaurants, and he's a big fan of the entertainment on Fremont Street. So when he gets a break in his schedule, which sometimes is after 1 a.m. on a certain night, or it might be a Tuesday, we love seeing Dana. He's been. I'm a big fan of Dana White for a lot of reasons. Really, what an entrepreneur he is. What a positive impact he's had on Las Vegas.
Yeah.
What a great impact he's had on the development of UFC. And then in an era or a period when the country needed some entertainment, going out and Fight Island and creating and really utilizing what was really an opportunity to really enhance the sport. He had such a big impact and has such a big impact on people that, the Golden Gate and Circa, we're big Dana White fans.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say if the town was to name the two MVPs of this town, it's absolutely Derek Stevens and Dana White, and I really mean that. Both of you do is second to none.
Well, I appreciate that, but Dana's a big boy. That's a whole nother level. Dana's been so good to Vegas. It's been awesome.
Let's get on the juicy stuff here, because I am an advantage bettor, and I like to play these kind of things that have no juice, which Derek brought to this town, this big Circa contest, the Circa Millions, which when I'm home, my home studio, every week on the on our podcast, Wise Kracks, in the background is my Circa hats from the last 2 years that I've joined. I'll have a new one this year when I get back. I'm traveling right now, but when I get back to town next week, I'll be signing up. So tell us about this year. Tell us the numbers. Tell us about overlays. And you also have the Survivor. So there's two different contests. Tell us what's going on down there.
Yeah, so our two contests, this is the third year of the Circa Sports Millions. This is really the traditional football contest where you pick 5 games against the point spread each week. It's a $1,000 entry. You got to register in Vegas, but you don't have to be in Vegas to make your place. You just get a proxy, and the proxy will put your picks. This year, we bumped it. Last year, we guaranteed $3 million. This year, we guaranteed $4 million. We're going to do $3 million in the overall contest, and $1 million we're guaranteeing in each of the quarters. So we're splitting up the year 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So even if you have a lousy first couple of weeks of the season, you still basically got 3 more contests where you got a shot to get a payoff. If we go over 4,000 entries, 100% of the money, as well as the $4 million, goes back into the pot, and it gets split amongst the quarters. So right now, as of this morning with 10 days to go, we've got 2,437 entries. And the way things kind of pace is in the last 10 days, you usually double what you signed up for throughout the summer. So I think we're going to go over the 4 million. And like I said, that'll all go into the quarters. Again, no rake, and you can have an opportunity to play against what I consider the best handicappers in the country. our second contest, and this is the second year of our second contest, is called the Circa Survivor. Last year was the first year we did it. And we thought we had to come out of the box and put a guarantee out for a Survivor contest. And we put out $1 million. We ended up doing like $1.3 million. It's 100% of that pot goes to the winner or winners. So last year, we went throughout the season, and unbelievably, we had 35 people that went undefeated throughout the year. And at the end of the year, they ended up chopping the pot. But I couldn't believe 35 people went undefeated. Maybe last year was an anomaly. A lot of people went against Jacksonville all year, things like that. But it was a heck of a tournament. And as you got to week 8, week 10, week 12, the exhilaration in Survivor is really something. I mean, it's just like a regular football contest, but amped up a little bit. So it was pretty cool. This year, what we did is we really wanted to take a lead position with Survivor, and we went from a $1 million guarantee to a $6 million guarantee. And this is probably where I'm way over my skis, because where we're at right now, we have 2,084 entrants going in today. So it's a little over 2 million, but we're guaranteeing 6 million. So this is a contest again. At worst, there's no juice. At best, you're going to have positive EV. The question is how much. And realize, in these contests, sometimes people don't get their picks in. I think we had unfortunately, 30 people last year didn't get their picks in. And that adds to the positive EV for everyone else that does. So if we get to 6 million, you're going to have, like I said, at worst, no juice, but you're probably going to have positive EV. But I don't think we're going to get to the 6 million here. So we need some smart guys to come out here with this type of overlay. Right now, it's the biggest overlay, I think, in any contest in Vegas history.
Yeah, that's great. And, what Derek said is very important here, guys. You do not have to live in Las Vegas. You come out to Las Vegas, the proxies, they're right there in the sports book. I was there last week, and there's a proxy right there in the sports book. Or, of course, Kelly in Vegas' company, she also does a proxy. So get a hold of her, and they do it. But it's very, very important that people don't realize this, Derek. I got guys, my friends in New York were like, they say, can we give you the picks and you play? And I was like, well, what do you mean? Well, we want to be in it, but we got to live in Vegas. I said, you don't have to live in Vegas. You can come right to Vegas and sign up. They didn't even know that. So that's really good to know. You don't have to live in Las Vegas. You'll have action all year long. Just giving, texting your proxy the picks, calling your proxy the picks. And I'm a gambling man. The numbers you just quoted, I'm willing to say that that's going to be an overlay, and I will have the maximum number of entries, which are there 3? Is that the maximum
number of entries in the millions is 3. Maximum in Survivor is 6 per person.
Yeah, I have a funny feeling I'm going to have 6, because that's going to be real positive EV. But great stuff, Derek. And I'm gonna pump up this on Twitter too. Last year I was doing that. I'm pumping up the contest, talking about it on different media outlets, on VSiN and on WFAN in New York. I was mentioning it, and on Bleacher Report. And because I thought we weren't going to get there, and I'm like, this is the greatest contest, which still wanted to be a great contest. But actually, the last couple days it did push over. The last 4 days or whatever it may be. So I'm going to do the same thing with the Survivor here and see if we can get this close to that number.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, today, a weekday, I've already had a couple texts this morning. People are flying in. They're going right to the book to sign up, because you have to sign up in person at the sports book. But now all the proxies, there's a number of large proxy services. They're all basically doing office hours. So you walk up to the ticket counter, say you want to participate in one of the contests, and say, I don't have a Survivor. All of our writers, our supervisors could just point out, hey, we got a proxy over here. We got a proxy over here. They're actually wearing logoed T-shirts and outfits and signage to be able to sign people up. So it's pretty cool. It creates a pretty cool little vibe in the book here before football starts.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we loved having you on here, and we appreciate you giving us all this time. Again, we're gonna pump this out for you and get this going. We really appreciate you coming on, and hope you come on with us again, maybe throughout the season, maybe the NFL playoffs or something.
Yeah, I'd love to. Anytime you ask, Crack, I'm in. So definitely love being on it. And let me know. Shoot me a text when you're in Vegas next week, so we can catch up one of these afternoons or evenings.
Absolutely, absolutely. The great Derek Stevens, everyone. Thank you again.
Wow, Crack, that was awesome, man. I mean, it's not every day you get to talk to a billionaire, right? Especially a down-to-earth billionaire.
He's down to earth, regular, literally like a knock-around guy from back home.
Yeah.
And yet, by the way, I didn't say nothing, but he wears the coolest outfits, very flamboyant, the pocket ties, and there's, the little thing. His ties are always great. His suits are great. And he is a sharp dresser, man.
He dresses like it's Kentucky Derby every day.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a perfect.
How did you first meet him?
I'm not going to brag on myself, but I was walking downtown and he grabbed me.
Really?
Like, Bill Krackenberger, come on over here. And I heard of him and I knew who he was, but I never knew that he would know who I am.
Right.
And he's just, I've been friends with him ever since, man. I'll text him once in a while just to say hi. And every time I'm in the casinos, he'll make his way over to me and he makes you feel special. And he's a special guy. He's a special guy.
Man, well, so are you, Bill Krackenberger. This was a great show today. And what a fun one that was.
Cool. Now wait a minute before we go off air.
Oh, yes.
I want to talk about something.
Yeah.
There's a show on Amazon, I believe it's on. I watched it on the JetBlue flight. By the way, JetBlue, Jesus, they have this Mint service where you're in this pod. It's an actual pod. The door closes. I have my own single pod on the plane, and for reasonable too. It must have been specials though, because I've seen the Mint for like $1,300 away or $8.99 was a decent price. I'd pay that. This was $5.99 or $4.99. It was $4.99. $4.99. I got the Mint. I said I'm going to sit in the Mint service. So anyway, it's the most unbelievable thing to ever be in. I mean, they give you all these different things, and they give you this little thing. This you could smell. Hold on. I'm going to grab it. I have it here live. The different things that they give you, and of course, Bill, I can't. Why would I be able? Why would I be able to find it? Right? Anyway,
no.
They got this. They give you this pack. What did I get? Damn it! Hold on.
I love it.
I got it. All right,
oh my God!
I got it.
Okay. The reveal.
They give you this little thing, and it's tied up so fancy with a.
Wait, what is that from?
All right, this is from JetBlue. They give you a perfect attendance. This is an immune support soft chew to boost your immune system.
Okay.
They give you. I didn't wear them. They give you socks, which I'm not wearing the socks.
All right.
They give you a pack of Fly Healthy. Well, I tell you, JetBlue should sponsor the show here.
Yeah. I was just
they give you
ask.
these immune. These are little. This is a gut check. It says on it, and it's actually for your gut. How about electrolytes dietary supplement that comes in there, and they give you extra batteries. This is something you don't even need. I got a couple of these. You don't need water. You just down it, and it just gives you a boost to your whole system to get up. Wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
Get the funk out. A deodorant wipe. I hope no one needs that. I hope no one needs that on the plane. They give you another little agave face cream to revive your face, I guess. And they give you this little smelling thing. You put them under your nose,
right?
And you actually because the pods are the seats lay flat, so they lay flat like a bed.
Yeah.
So
I've seen those before on other airlines. Normally you have to go to Europe in first class,
Europe.
And you get that on British Airways or something.
Yeah.
Really, this is on a JetBlue flight.
That's on a JetBlue flight. So and of course you get internet free, you get the TV free, you get waters,
right.
and I had steak. They brought steak over. For a meal, which was decent. It was good. I couldn't believe it because I eat out every night. So I was like, oh, this can't be good. But they brought steak over and beautiful. They have a dessert tray.
Right.
They actually have a dessert tray they bring around.
So let me ask you this, Bill. When you're back east during football season, I'm assuming there's going to be a time where I need to come join you back east, and you're gonna like you normally do. You go, hey, I'm going to book your ticket.
Yes.
You know,
you're going to be in the back with the steerage. Yeah. No. Hey, I got you on that Spirit.
It was unbelievable.
And it was the big front seats. It's big, right? It's good.
It's phenomenal. Yeah. Phenomenal.
I don't want to give Spirit any credit though. They just screwed me over with their.
I'm loyal to JetBlue now because of you.
Yeah, JetBlue.
Yeah, I'm a JetBlue guy.
So I'm on JetBlue. Someone told me to watch this movie called The Donut King,
right?
Which is a documentary movie. So you have to see it. The Donut King. It was unbelievable how good it was. It took a turn. I don't want to spoil it for people either, but this guy, I think they were from Cambodian refugees. This guy sponsored all these families. He was poor himself. He came over from Cambodia with no money and was driving a truck and smelt a donut. And he's like, what does that smell? He smelled something like in his home country. He wound up being the Donut King. He built so many donut places in LA and the area and just Southern California. He put Dunkin' Donuts out of business. They all closed. There was 40 locations of Dunkin' Donuts. They all closed. This guy owned all of the donuts, all of the donut shops. He not only owned them, he franchised them out. He was making tons of money. He was making like $5,000 a month off each shop, hundreds of shops, millions and millions, made himself hundreds of millions of dollars and lost it all.
Stop it.
He lost it all.
Come on. Gambling, blackjack?
The casinos took all of his money. Now, just watch it. I already gave too much away. But, listen, I know everyone's, human and they are responsible for their own actions.
Yeah.
But the casinos make it real easy and make you feel like someone you're not when you're in Vegas or in any of these destinations. And now the guy can't get a stick of gum if he asks for a stick of gum in a casino. So,
what are your thoughts on that? So, like, if you're in a bar, in a casino or any bar, but if you're in a restaurant or a bar and you're drinking too much, and the bartender realizes, you're drinking too much, they will take your car keys. And they'll cut you off and they'll take your car keys and they'll send you home. They'll get you an Uber or whatever to save you from you, essentially. But it's not the same at table games, is it?
I'm always blunt. Casinos don't want to hear this part. Do you think they're going to say, you've had enough when you're gambling tens of thousands? Do you think they're going to say, that's enough for you? Look at the old owner of the Philadelphia Eagles that owned the big trucking company. I can't think of his name right now. They broke him. They broke the guy. The guy was literally the coach that coached the team, that coached the Eagles. He was paying his rent when he passed away in his apartment. He wound up paying his rent. It is what it is. It's hard to do that too. I understand it's hard to say to people, you got to stop now or whatever, but they're going to thank you in the morning for it. Trust me.
Yeah.
Responsible gaming is definitely bigger in the sportsbook side of gambling than the casino side of gambling. New Jersey's very big on responsible gaming. I was trying to deposit a good size deposit at DraftKings, $50K. And they wouldn't let me deposit it. They were like, we'll take 10. We need to know your bank information. And I gave them my bank account after. They allowed it after. But it took some vetting. They had to go through and look and see who I was first and make sure that my money was coming in legitimately. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
That they did that, by the way, because I'm always looking out for kids. So I want to look out for the kids in the world. All these new genres of gamblers that have grown up on ESPN and betting and not betting and being a fan to now betting on their favorite teams just because they're on TV or something. So at least they're not going to be able to bet big money without being vetted. And let me tell you something. There is a KYC. It's Know Your Customer law that came out for the casinos. If you have credit, they want to know you could pay your credit. Where's the money come from? The casinos don't like this, of course. This is the federal government mandating the casinos to do this. But I don't know how good it's done, to be honest with you. I'm not going to say it's probably working out like the government wanted it to work out. But I go into the Win years ago when I was allowed to play blackjack there, and I put up cash and I remember going over $3,000. It was like an internal thing, maybe a Title 31 or some kind of internal thing. I had 2,000. I lost it. I had like 1,500 up there on one hand. And how did that work? Let me just think how that worked. I know what happened. I was down like 2,500, and I bet I was down like 2,300. I put 700 up. That's why I'm thinking 1,400. 700 up, and I went to go double. I took $700 more in my pocket. They said, "We need your ID." I said, "Well, it's not over 10,000. You don't need my ID." They said, "No, you can't double unless you give us your ID." Over $3,000. It's an internal rule, which people may not know. Some places have this. You give them your driver's license, they're going to let you bet it. It's not a big deal. And I gave it to them. I gave them the ID. I just was shocked they wouldn't let you double. Oh, it's over $3,000. Perfect example. That big player that came in, I was talking about with Derek. We went to go to dinner at Rayo's one time at, was it Rayo's? No, it was the Italian chef from Philadelphia. We wanted to go to that. It was at the Rio, It was at the Rio. Oh. It was at this well-known Italian restaurant that was up top in the corner back when they first opened.
Yep.
So we wanted to go there. He wasn't a guest there or nothing. We were paying for our meal. And he went in and bought in the crab table for $5,000. He lost the $5,000 in a minute. Bought in for another $5,000. And I said, "Listen, Frankie, we got to go. We got to go to the restaurant. We're going to lose our reservation." And he had $3,600 left. He goes, "All right, come on, let's go." He cashed out. So he loses $6,400, goes to the, doesn't give his ID or nothing. He goes to the blackjack, to the casino cage. They wouldn't let him cash his $3,600.
Why?
Yeah. They said, "You have to have ID." He's like, "What? I didn't give ID at the table." "You have to have ID, sir, 3,000 or more." So this internal rule happens at certain levels of the casino. It probably should have happened at that crap table. It's just not being enforced at certain levels of the casino areas. Anyway, we're running long here. Sorry. I like to tell these stories. That's why it's so important to have a guy that gambles to a good level that I can actually tell you this stuff off my own playbook, seeing it with my own eyes or doing it myself, rather than people on Twitter that just talk BS and talk about they're the biggest bettors ever and they win everything and all this other stuff. Always be transparent, admit your losses. In the end, I know Crack wins, guys. We're going to get the money. We do. Crack wins, crackwins.com, the app. We do get the money. We've done really good last week, 4-2 in the NFL again, back-to-back weeks. Had a really successful preseason schedule. By the way, oh my God, there was some games this preseason we should have really had we had some sick beats. We had a sick push on Pittsburgh. We were up by like 2 touchdowns with like minutes left. Onside kicks against us. We got a push. Kansas City Chiefs up by 20 some points. Wind up losing that game last week in the fourth quarter. There was a couple of really bad beats the last seconds though. But we're doing great. College football coming up. Look forward to that. Look forward to NFL props, NFL totals. So I want to talk about WSN.com. Let's not forget about them. They're the greatest, man. They got some stuff going on, some things going on. John, I'm on there myself, as you can see. I'm on there talking about, this is the free expert fantasy football picks and guide. This is a side that I don't do a lot. I'm not really a fantasy guy. There's not enough hours in a day. There's not enough fantasy, but there's great information out there, like on WSN.com. They have literally a daily fantasy sports betting guide. Like I said, it's all on here, but you know what I like? The bonuses. And the bonuses are on there for the fantasy also, not just sports betting. So I like to see that, but also the articles on the fantasy football picks and predictions, some great things there. Also WSN.com, they have that great bonus. I was talking about a couple weeks ago that the Caesars brand has brought this up. Well, you just go to WS.com. You see the $5,000 risk-free bet there. So I'm going to tell you exactly how you're supposed to do it. I know a lot of people don't have the bankroll to do it like this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So you get up to $5,000 on your first deposit for that much of a free bet. So if you deposit $1,000, you get $1,000 free bet. Make sure it's your first bet. But mathematically, you really should deposit the $5,000 because you get a $5,000 free bet. So that's what I recommend doing. Of course, you can claim the bonus now. Just go to WSN. And actually, this is the most explanatory thing on this bonus everywhere. It tells you everything you need to know on this bonus at the Caesars properties outside of Nevada. And the bonus code that you need, it's right there. The bonus code is WSNRF, $5,000, man. one of the best bonuses out there. Listen, I'm on the East Coast now. I'm going through a lot of these different sports books, and I'm loading up my accounts because there's a lot of low-hanging fruit out there for people with a few bucks.
I love it. I love the low-hanging fruit. I want to eat.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things out there. Not only WSN, they have the articles. Don't forget all the great articles, all the great bonuses, not just that Caesars bonus. So there you go.
Well, Bill, as always, I know I say this every time we have a great guest. This was my favorite show yet, but this was my favorite show yet. This was a fun one, and I look forward to doing it again next week.
Boy, what a class act, man.
Oh.
There's something about him. It's a radiant energy. When you see, now you said you met him once or no?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So you see it. You
so
see it.
Nice.
He just has that energy. So nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look forward to meeting him down there. You and I going down there and hanging out with him.
Yeah, man. And we've got another fun show next week. I'll tease it now. We've got Giga Chikadze, undefeated fighter in the UFC, the big main event winner from this past Saturday night, will be joining us via Zoom, and we will talk to him about his incredible ride so far in the UFC.
Sounds great.
All right, man. We'll see you next week, and we'll see all of you next week on Wise Kracks.